had to choose between police officers, firefighters, construction, mining, and agriculture, what would you guess is the most dangerous job in America? Believe it or not, responsible for 23 work-related deaths per 100,000 workers, which is 7% higher than the national average. Agriculture is the most dangerous job in America. And when you look even deeper, there are so many downsides to traditional ways of farming. Some of these downsides include soil degradation. Essentially, there's so much farming going on in a specific area that soil becomes exhausted of its resource and degrades the land around it. Deforestation. More than 11% of all of the land in this world is taken up by agriculture. Pollution. The use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides can poison fresh water, marine ecosystem, while contaminating both the air and the soil in surrounding areas. And the astonishing fact that 70% of the entire globe's water withdrawal goes directly to agriculture. The bottom line is that agriculture is inefficient, dangerous, and at the mercy of a multitude of environmental factors. Not to mention the fact that humans have been farming in the same traditional means for the past 11,700 years. Shouldn't there be a better way to farm? In fact, several alternatives to traditional farming have been created. Some of these alternatives include regenerative farming, precision farming, and vertical farming. How are these processes different, and how do they work? Regenerative farming is a land management practice focused on the restoration of soil and the long-term maintenance of land. This is accomplished by limiting the mechanical soil disturbance, limiting the reliance on synthetic inputs, including herbicides, pesticides, and chemical fertilizers. Instead, they focus on creating a diverse ecosystem of insects and wildlife, and feeding and preserving biological structures like fungi, bacteria, and other underground soil microbes. Given the fact that the natural organisms within these regenerative farms remain healthy and lively, crops that are cultivated in this environment thrive and create a plentiful yield. However, regenerative farming is costly and not whatsoever land efficient. In order to tackle this issue, precision farming takes a very exact and statistical spin on traditional farming methods. As I mentioned earlier, several factors impact the yield of a traditional farm. Precision farming looks to understand and tackle the variability within different parts of farming land to directly compensate for the differing levels of sunlight that each individual section may receive and the differing levels of fertilizer and nutrients that each individual crop is specified. In order to accomplish this, the precision method uses several sensors to tell the moisture, quality, and temperature of the surrounding air and soil. Combine this with satellites and drone feeds showing real-time images of the crop, and mechanized fertilization and watering tools creates an extremely exact and precise method to efficiently run a farm. Within precision farming, each segment of land is carefully monitored and able to cultivate a significant 4% increase in crop production. However, just like traditional farming, the issues of pesticide runoff, water contamination, soil degradation, and deforestation still remain. There is one method seemingly levels above all the alternatives, known as vertical farming. Vertical farming creates an environmentally friendly and efficient way to cultivate crops. Hence the name. Vertical farming vertically places layers of agricultural racks, one on top of the other. Vertical farming is not impacted by environmental, and the farms can be located within urban areas, allowing for a decrease in the required food mile in order for the produce to reach its final destination. Some of the benefits of vertical farming, as opposed to its traditional counterpart, include 99% less land, 240 times more crop use, 99% less water, and 40% less energy. Vertical farming is the new way to increase agricultural productivity and efficiency in an energy-conscious manner. Aside from the learning curve and the large initial investment, vertical farming is miles above its traditional counterpart. Regardless of where it comes from, once the food is grown, it is then transported to a processing center where the food is washed, chopped, labeled, and processed for human consumption. From there, it moves to a regional distribution center and then to your retail store or restaurant where you, the consumer, can indulge in some fresh produce. But how much of this food gets eaten? How much do we spend on that? And how much gets wasted? The average family spends $5,300 on food throughout a year. And the disheartening part about that is that 40% of global food produced never gets eaten. That's an average of 330 million pounds of food wasted every single day. All of this wasted food would be enough to provide 130 billion meals. You're not only wasting your money, wasting the effort it took to cultivate this produce, but you're wasting our precious Earth's resources. All the food that you throw away then gets transported to a landfill. Within this landfill, that food is trapped under so many layers of waste, leading to the food decomposing without any air. Without any air, this decomposed produce creates methane, a greenhouse gas that is more than 20% as potent at trapping heat as CO2 emissions. Think about that the next time you throw away a half-eaten meal. This mind-boggling food waste, combined with the completely inefficient means of cultivation, decreases our planet's lifetime and wastes money and resources. How can we, as a society, do our part and impact our planet in the right way? Several things that you can do within your everyday life include checking your refrigerator and your pantry before purchasing any new produce, eating your leftovers, donating surplus food, starting the practice of compost. Understand exactly how much effort is put into the food on your table and do your best to make sure that this effort does not go to waste. See you on Saturday for an in-depth walkthrough on some practice SAT questions. We hope you learned something new on this week's Explainer episode on Teens Teach. Spread it with someone you know, because knowledge withheld deteriorates, but knowledge spread proliferates. Have a good one.